Curtis is ready. It looks like Curtis is ready. So with that, we'll call our meeting to order. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda tonight? Hearing none, we entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Motion support. Last chance for questions. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We have an agenda. Roll has been taken.
Yes,
Very
thank
good.
you.
Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance. If I want to please rise and join us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We entertain a motion for the approval of the minute of the May 12, 2026 regular meeting.
Move approval. Support.
There's a motion support. Are there any comments, questions, additions, deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Hearings, we are to hold a public hearing at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the agenda will allow to consider a special assessment roll for unpaid charges for 2025, including charges for noxious weed cutting, sidewalk replacement, frozen meters, sanitary service leads, rental license fees, improper parking, and securing unsafe property.
Move to open the public hearing.
Support. The motion support. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any no? Motion is carried. We are in a hearing.
Okay.
Lee?
Yep, sure. The first item will be your utility accounts that have been unpaid. That we have a total of $53,133.65. That accounts for 188 different accounts across the city. Compared to last year, that we were at $40,288.95. And that was 160 different accounts. So just to give you a little perspective from last year. For noxious weeds, we had a total of $8,066.89. That is 12 different accounts that haven't been paid. Last year, we were at $4,056.51, and that was for 52 accounts. So obviously this year it's just higher dollar amounts with less people that are choosing not to have their own property mowed. Under our rental license fees, total of $4,128. That accounts for 87 different rental licenses. Last year was $3,520 and accounted for 75 different licenses. Under light for this year, it's a big one because we had the demo at 1415. Total of $14,387. Total of 5 different properties. In 2025, it was $1,800 with 11 properties. Driveway approaches, we have a total of 2 this year for a total of $332.80. And we did not have any driveway approaches last year. Under sidewalk replacements, a total of $14,731.29. And that is a total of 31 different sidewalk replacements or properties. And last year we had 0 counts within our off year of doing the sidewalk replacement. In 2024, going back there, just take a look at that, we had $3,019.50 underneath 3 accounts. So for this assessment, a total of all those different funds, $96,540.70.
Okay, there's questions.
The people who are on this list, are they privately notified by something other than this list? Yes.
The letters are sent directly to them, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Any more questions from the board? Are there any members of the public that would like to address the commission on this topic? Please go forwards to the podium, state your name and address. Seems we have no takers.
Move to close the public hearing.
Support. We have motion support. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. The hearing is closed. Thank you. Next, we are considering a resolution confirming the special assessment rule for unpaid charges as of June 1, 2026, and authorize these charges to be placed on the July 1, 2026 tax roll under the respective tax roll items.
Move to adopt. Support.
Motion support. Any questions or comments? I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on down, request for purchase. Consideration of a resolution to approve request for purchase to Ohm Advisors in the amount of $39,581, which is for fieldwork and construction, documents and permitting, bidding services for the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund Park Improvement Project at Riverside Park.
Move to adopt. Support.
Motion support.
This is our DNR grant that we received for Riverside Park for the overlook deck and the pavilion and some of the site amenities there. This is just to get the design work started so we can hit the ground running in spring of next year.
Comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? I say yes. Motion is carried. With one negative. I said no.
Yes.
Yeah, but you said I say yes.
Okay, sorry.
So I was like, wait a minute, did
Then I
I
say
say
no,
something that
sorry.
wasn't yes?
I'm not used to doing that.
Okay,
My apologies.
no worries.
So I'm a negative. Next, consideration of a resolution to approve request for purchase to Lungmar Ford in the amount of $60,597 for a 2027 Ford F600 regular cab 4x4 XL chassis for the Public Works.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support. Comments or questions?
This is a budgeted, this budgeted motor pool to replace a unit 646, I believe it is.
Okay. Anybody got questions? Hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Number 3, consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Truck and Trailer Specialties in the amount of $66,465 for installation of a swap loader SL110 on the new Public Works 2027 Ford F600.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support. Any comments?
I was gonna let Dave to kind of let you know what this,
what a swap loader is?
what this accessory does, so.
Please do.
Because I'll just tell you, it picks up things and dumps things.
Well, that works for me.
Dave, it does more than that.
Sure, we have a lot of picking up and dumping to do.
Dave Ringel, Public Services Director, you just summed it up, Eric. That's what it does. So this is the replacement box for that unit. When it's retiring and it's going to go out for sale is the former truck that this one replaces. There's a dump box on this, and the dump box in this one is rusted out, it's ready to go. So with this one, we need a new dump box for the new 600 that was just approved. This is more than just a dump box. You can use it as a dump box, but it's got a hydraulic hook on there to lift, so we can use it to put various accessories on this. The accessories that we're looking to do that have been budgeted for the upcoming budget year, this one we can put in the water tank on there where we use to water flowers. We can put on liquid de-icing equipment, so tanks for de-icing. We can use that for parking lots. We can use it on state trunk line and intersections for pre-icing. We can also put accessories on there that hook onto it for crack sealing for streets or parking lots and that type of thing. So it's a universal box. It does more than just dump, and we can use it as a salt spreader as well, because with the hook you can hook the salt accessory in there and then have the salt spreader. So multiple different things with one box.
Questions? One thing comes to mind, you talked about all these accessories. Those come with this
No.
kit, or those are all to be purchased later separately?
If money and budget allows, we could either purchase them, but what we're looking at doing for a number of those, like for the crack sealer, we would rent them, and then you can hook those in and then run hydraulically to do crack sealing. The thing with the tanks for de-icing, we would purchase the tank at some point to put in the back of the truck to do de-icing, but this is what we're looking at in anticipation. So multiple uses with one piece of equipment as opposed to just a dump box.
Curious, is this something new? Is it a new company?
It's not new. We've never used one of these before, never had one, so it'd be new to the fleet, but no, it's not a new company.
It's off the state of Michigan purchase list, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
my only concern is sometimes companies that have these, Swiss Army knives of things, and they go out of business and you can't get these accessories, you can't get them repaired. and things.
No, it's not proprietary accessories that you put on.
They're not?
It's just, this just hooks on, so you can, like I mentioned, we rent these different types of equipment or buy them, we would own them, it just hooks it up, slides it in, and then you just set it back down. But there's a hook that pulls it up, lowers the box and lowers it back down, so you can get the piece of equipment out.
Okay, thank
Use
you.
your options.
Very good.
Similar to the way the new car tow trucks.
You got it, similar to a dump truck,
Yeah,
you see the
okay.
giant hooks like for the dumpster bins and that type of thing, it's the same concept as that.
Good, thank you.
Any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, purchase is made. Number 4, consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Medler Electric for the, in the amount of $36,123.07 for streetlight poles and post tops.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support.
This is our section of our, going from the old style to the black historic with LED lights. So just another purchase to get further west. So we're getting closer.
Questions? I hear none. I do have one. I noticed it's a while back, maybe you replaced them, but there was a bunch of lights going dark, the new LEDs.
Yes.
Have those been replaced?
We're replacing those, right? Yes.
Or is that part of this, or is this?
It's not part of this one, but we have been taking out the engines and replacing them with it's instead of the panel with the little bulbs on it,
Yeah.
it's a circular bulb that lights up and it's much brighter. So we've been switching those engines out.
Okay.
Once we have the luminaire and the post, it's just a matter of taking that engine and switching it out. So we have been doing those as every year here. So, yep. I think there's 3 or 4 left, I think.
Of the old ones?
Of the old
Yeah,
ones,
yeah, I don't know, they were dim, I know that.
Yes.
A lot
So
of
they're
them.
the new posts, but they don't have the new
Right.
lighting
Yeah,
yet.
the
Got
engines,
it.
they were put in their 2008 is when
Okay.
those were put in. So it's about, it's
So the lifespan is-
more than lifespan, yeah. So we've been changing out the engines and then I think there's still 3, 4 left to change out.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else have questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Number 5, consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase to Pat's Auto in the amount of $10,774.36 for the replacement of a structurally compromised frame on a DPW pickup, unit number 30.
Move to adopt.
Support.
We're buying something to replace a structurally compromised. We're
No,
not buying
we're
it,
buying
we're
a
buying
frame.
it
We're buying a
structurally.
We're buying a frame. The
It's
truck,
structurally compromised?
we're gonna build a new frame. The frame is structurally compromised, so we gotta have a new frame. So everything else on it, the bed, the body, the drivetrain, electronics, the axles, they're all serviceable. Our garage guys have told us, hey, we can get another 5, 7 years out of it, but we need a new frame. The frame is not safe. So for $10,700 and change, we can change out the frame
Oh,
and keep
we're
the...
purchasing
Yeah,
a
frame,
frame,
yeah.
not a structurally compromised.
No. That's why we're purchasing a new frame.
Got it,
Yep,
got it.
no problem.
And that's what I was,
Yep.
You can get a better deal if you get...
if we're going with structurally compromised.
We got plenty of stuff, yeah.
$10,000.
We can sell it.
This is from Pat's used frame.
Well, that's why I was just wondering.
Yes.
Okay,
No, it's okay.
understand.
I'm glad you asked the question.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. And like I said, we just approved a truck for $60-some thousand. So instead of spending another 60, after our mechanics looked at it, it says, no, this truck is in good enough shape if we switch out the frame, that we can get another 5 to 7 years out of it, so.
Okay.
So that price is the frame and the labor?
Correct. Yes.
Pretty good deal.
Okay, any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, thank you. Next up, consideration of a resolution to approve a request for purchase in the amount of $295,293 to the Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority for renewal of the city's liability and property insurance coverage for July 1, 2026 through June 30, 2027.
Move to adopt.
Support. Got motion support. Anything interesting to say about insurance?
No, just the insurance went up. We were fortunate last year to see a small reduction. This year, we've seen a
They got it back.
got back, yes, but not as much as some of our neighboring communities. So, but still, 7.8% increase this year. So, gotta have it, though. So,
Absolutely.
Does our police certification do anything to help us on insurance premiums?
It does help overall. I mean, it's
Kind of like my good student.
yeah, it does help
Take it.
overall. It does help. It's like having our sidewalk replacement program.
Yeah, okay.
As part of this. It
Okay.
helps with our
Good.
the premium overall.
Good.
Stuff.
Good.
Okay. Any more questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Moving on to resolutions, we are to consider a resolution to ratify the investment of following city funds, and before us tonight, we just have the one, $535,000 treasury bill at 401. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support, comments or questions? Nothing? All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Consideration of a resolution to adopt the proposed fiscal year 2027 annual city budget.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. Do we remember to cover the whole thing again?
I can
Tell by Roxanne, she does not.
Okay. No, we can just go
Unless
through.
he made some big
if you-
changes.
Unless you want me to go through this to millages, because those,
Yeah,
those are
whatever
for the
that,
public.
yeah.
The general fund millage did go down to 13.9555. Last year it was 14.1078. The transportation millage stays at 0.8 mils. The street improvement millage that we voted on street millage is at 3.4338. That is up just that is down just a tad from last year, which is 3.4713. The DDA district millage is actually up a little bit at 1.9463. Last year was 1.9307. And then lastly, the Alma Public Library levy tax that the commission votes on last year was at 0.9687. Last year was at, so it is down a little bit from last year, which was 0.9793.
And that library is operating millage? Not-
That's library, you can use it for operating or for capital.
But it's not the bond payoff.
It's not the bond, that's done, yeah, that's the one,
That's-
that's just the one that this commission votes on a yearly basis to levy across all real property for operations at the public library.
Okay. Questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried, thank you. Next, we have consider a resolution to approve the fiscal 2026 budget amendments as presented.
Move to adopt. Support.
Motion support.
Any questions, or do you want me to run through
We're
these?
good.
Okay. On the sidewalk, Public Works sidewalk expenditure budget, that's adding $37,000 for legal fees not incurred in this current year's budget. And B, the public safety building inspection expenditure budget, expenditure of $25,100. And then we increase it with revenue that came in at $25,100 for the demolition fees reimbursed by the county for the dangerous building. And this dangerous building was for 702 Gratiot. So that's a wash for that particular one.
Okay, questions? Since you mentioned 702 Gratiot, I had to go by there today. There's still a big pile of dirt there. Is that going to be leveled and grassed? or
That's
what's going on there?
what I'm trying to get them back to do.
Okay.
Got them there to drop the soil off to fill the little indention
The
that
sinking or whatever was
sinking
going on there?
going on there. We'll get them back to
Okay.
get it finished out.
All right, thank you. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Next, consideration of a resolution to approve a transfer of the recreational marijuana retail license for 528 West Warwick to a new entity.
Move to adopt.
Support.
A motion support. Any background?
This is going from the current license holder, which is DNVK Lapeer Inc., and they have been functioning as Consume Alma since 2023. What they're requesting here, and it's in the resolution, is to transfer the retail recreational marijuana license from DNVK Lapeer Inc. to SSN Alma LLC in the same location. Just moving it over there. So Some of the people are in the entity is the same folks who are in this entity. What we do according to our ordinance is they submit the application, they submit the pre-qualification from the state of Michigan underneath the new entity, and their application fee. Everything is there. This resolution transfers that. They submit this to finish out their paperwork to the state of Michigan, and then they'll receive a license from the state of Michigan, the Medical Marijuana Regulatory Agency, for them to run that facility at West Warwick Drive. So the only thing that's changing is the name entity. So.
Easy peasy, huh?
Yep, this
Both are
is,
staying in the same building, they're just basically splitting it for legal reasons, it seems like.
it's a brand new entity, but according to ordinance, this is what they had to go,
Makes sense.
apply for. Like I said, they won't have their license from the state of Michigan until they receive this, and they'll finish out the paperwork there.
But they'll continue operating and just
Until-
it'll be seamless to the
Yes,
public.
into the public, yes. Yep.
Okay.
With them being split though, is there any ability for one of those two to move to a new location, or they'd have to reapply?
I think
Split in the same
I
and
think
moved over.
they're when this one takes over, the other one's just going to
Gone.
dissolve.
Yeah, it'll-
Dissolve. That's my understanding.
Yeah, that's-
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions?
We're transferring the license, we're not adding a new license.
No, we're transferring this one. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving down, reports of officers, boards, and committees. Before us tonight, we have a bunch of reports. Let's see now. The commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any item within the section for individual discussion and vote. Excuse me. Before us tonight, we have the DWSRF construction report for May 2026, the Alma District Fire Board May 13, 2026 draft meeting minutes, the Finance April 2026 report, the City Manager's report. Any more? Let's see. Oh, I picked up it.
Move to receive reports 1 through 3.
Support.
Okay, we've got a motion for 1 through 3. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried.
Move to receive the city manager report.
Support.
Motion support for City Manager's report. Enlighten us, please.
Okay, perfect. First off, Brett Bobolitz and I, the Transportation Director, went down to the county board meeting last Tuesday to discuss with them the possibility of a countywide millage for countywide transportation. We did include in the packet the kind of a overview of what the budget could look like going from where we're at currently, which is the actual budget, to what it could look like on a countywide level, what we would need for personnel, buses, what's the millage rate that we put in to the assumption and talked with the commission, county commission about was a 0.5 mil levy. Currently, with us in Slipper, St. Louis, Ithaca, Pine River, we're issuing a 0.8 mils, and we just talked about that. That's our millage rate currently. So if we were to go down along the lines of a countywide millage, you would swap out our current millage for the new millage, and those here in Alma and in Slipper would see it go from 0.8 to 0.5. But that's just the discussion we had. We provided them information, took some questions. The concern is, keeping it, as low as possible, the millage rate. Discussion, can you get it down to 0.4 something, was one of the questions. It's like, well, right now, you could request something up to 0.5, and if, things worked out right, you could levy something less, which we do currently with the transportation millage.
Easy to go down than it is to go up.
Yep, exactly. Yes, we have the option. The real reason to kind of, we met with their staff and then met with the board was in late May, the transportation director was made aware of MDOT as providing up to, I believe, $65 million worth of funding over the next 3 years through their Infrastructure Project Authority Fund. And what they're looking to do is spend that money on expansion of transit services across the state of Michigan. So the discussions that our directors had with the state of Michigan is what we're talking about here of a countywide system. It fits right in what they're looking to do. The very big positive of it is we've talked about, okay, if we do go countywide, what millage rate do you have to have it at to pay for the the additional buses, the additional personnel, and everything else that comes along with the expansion. That's quite an expansion. What they have available here in the first year, we could fund up to 100% of what we needed there. The next year, 70%, and the third year, 50%, and then you go down to your 30% that they fund us currently at. So it's not free, but if you were going to go ahead and get this out in front of the public of trying to get a countywide transit system, which the county and the municipalities have talked about for, 40-some years at least, this would be your best shot at it for getting the funds to pay for the upfront cost to get it done. The downside of it is that the application is due June 30. So seems like with a lot of things, it's like, here's the funds, here, you got to submit, you're ready to go. So we did let the Board of Commissioners know that, and said obviously we didn't want any decision from them, but what we would like to see from them and need from them as part of that application process is that a resolution that they'd be willing to put out a countywide millage request proposal to make that part of the application, because it's a competitive program, and if we don't have that, then the likelihood of us really making a dent in it is probably not going to happen. So I think it was a good conversation. I think the big thing is, like it always is, what it comes to the mills, what it comes down to, and then how much service do you have, and people's feelings on if they use the service or not, because that's usually the comment that people get back is, well, I don't use that, so why should I have to pay for that? Well, when you talk about public transportation, I think we all know here in Slipper, our partners with that have learned over the last 3.5, 4 years that it's not necessarily just you specifically, but the folks that that are your friends, relatives, getting kids to and from school, people that can't drive a car for whatever reason, be it financial, the ability, not they can't get a driver's license.
In 1997, I broke a foot, couldn't use my clutch. I rode down the ride to Edward Jones for months.
And we have out in the townships, we do have a handful of adult care facilities that would make it viable for them to have some mobility to get into different communities. Also, it fills we're a transportation desert. Our county to the north, Isabella County, our county to the south, Clinton County, both have countywide transit. So right now we do provide some services back and forth between Isabella County and the northern portion of Gratiot, because that's where all of us and the partners are at. And on occasion we do try to work with Clinton County, but that's one of those things that's a little tougher to do because we don't have a full countywide all the way down. Being a countywide transit, it would allow for someone to make a trip from Clinton County through Gratiot up to Isabella, having that you could be on public transportation the whole way without getting on Indian trails. And that's a goal of MDOT in the state of Michigan, is to make that happen. So everything's kind of lining up for us here as a county to make this happen now, because all the upfront costs, they'll be basically covering those. And on an ongoing basis, 0.5 or less is right in there with other transportation departments. When we did the review of the wages of our transit drivers, 3.5, 4 years ago, somewhere in there, that 0.5 fits right in with what other transit systems have levied across their district. So just wanted to provide that information to you, provide the commission what we gave to the County Board of Commissioners, and we'll see what they're looking to do at the next meeting. If they do pass a resolution of some sort of letter of support for the application and for going out for a countywide village. But it's a bummer that it's this quick of a turnaround, but sometimes that's the hand you're dealt, and we'll see where we can take it. But all in all, a positive thing.
I'm sure going from the 0.8 to the 0.5, because we're spreading it, there's a bigger area, and that even decreasing will cover the additional
Yes.
costs
Yeah.
of, okay.
Yep. And you wouldn't be able to do that probably if, say, we were to do it on our own with Slipper. It would probably have to be, without this funding,
Yeah.
you would probably have to do a countywide, and it'd have to be more than a 0.5. I don't know what that number would be, but without having that upfront money coming from the state of Michigan, it would have to be something higher. So this is kind of the time that it wouldn't be never, that you wouldn't do it never in the future, but it's gonna make it a lot harder if that's what your concerns are, that what the levy's gonna be, and how's it gonna benefit everybody from a financial standpoint. So we'll see what that brings.
Thank you.
And, good conversation.
It's all driven by the county though, right? If they don't give us a resolution, we're not, it's just, we're dropping it, right?
Yeah, there's no reason to
I mean,
go forward.
they came looking for this, right?
Yeah, there's no reason to go forward.
There has been some interest on the part of, I think, at least 3 townships in increasing or in joining some kind of a transportation thing. Emerson, Wheeler, and Seville, I think.
Breckenridge.
Who have some real interest in it, and the question came up, well then, rather than just having half the townships, why don't we just see if there might be some interest in all of the townships, to do this? Certainly makes sense up here. Emerson Township, the bus goes right by J.J. Ruby's, but it can't stop there because Emerson Township doesn't participate in it. And, that could be corrected, and stuff out in Breckenridge and Wheeler, it doesn't work for them. Would there be as much interest in some of the southern counties in New Haven, or townships in New Haven and stuff? It can be made a good case for it, like for transportation in Clinton County. If we had something in Gratiot County, then Clinton County could come into the New Haven Township to pick up people to go to St. John's, for instance. It's a thing that it does make sense, and they started the conversation with it, not us, so.
Very good. Thanks, Roger. Next item is the capital maintenance millage. Tonight, you approved our millages across the city, one of them being the library operational millage. According to the Libraries Act, we can levy up to 2 mills for library operations and capital items. Right now, you can do up to 1 mill voted on by the elected body, which is what you've done tonight. And you can, the other mill, up to 1 other mill, that has to be voted on by the public. Our discussion is going through the budget and talking about the capital needed for the library coming up, and then just the dollars that it takes to maintain the building in general, without the capital improvements. How are we going to fund those things? So one of the discussions that the commission had and asked the question of was, well, what are our options of looking at a bond or some sort of a capital sinking fund millage, that sort of thing? Well, we could, as a commission, decide to do one of 2 things. One, not do anything and just keep, doing through the general fund what we can.
Yeah.
But we already know what the dollar amounts are and what's going to cost. Or 2, to look at the other mill of the 2 mills, which is voted on by the citizens of Alamo. Looking at the 10-year capital improvement plan, your minimum that you would probably need to put out for a vote, if that's what you chose to do, would be 0.6 mils. And that would cover just your capital for the next 10 years that has been identified. That doesn't help with what your maintenance of the building is per year. Budget for the maintenance of the building per year is right around $80,000 per year to maintain the building. And that's not the capital side of it. If you were to look at going up to the maximum mill, put that out for a vote. You could put that into your sinking fund for your capital. Also, you can put that in for your maintenance. That's what you can use it for, not operating. You could specify that's what it's going to be used for. And then one thing to think about also on top of that, to maybe give yourself some room in your budget, is if you did do that if you would with a full mill levy, that the $100,000 contribution that you make from the general fund, because that helps pay for that maintenance that's on the building, you could reduce that or take that away and put it toward other capital in the community So those are some options to be looking at. The vote would have to happen if we wanted to get it on this election cycle. It would have to happen in November. The language has to be into the clerk July. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we'd have to decide on what we'd like to do before July to get that stuff into the clerk to get that out in there, so.
Do we have a general idea of like what 1 mil would cost people?
Yeah, generally, and for the city of Alma, I think.
Because it seems like it's not a huge
Yeah.
amount, but so I like, it would, per, you know, like per household or whatever, do we?
And taxable value, don't quote me, but on
Yeah,
taxable
just-
value, just thinking in my head, for $100,000 taxable value, so you're looking at $25 a year, $500,000, so about $50 a year
Yeah,
for a
okay.
full mill.
And
Is
to
that
me,
close,
for the
Curtis?
work-
Probably.
I mean, just a rough, I
That's
mean,
like
not,
$200,000 house.
yeah.
So,
Just a general.
yeah, that's generally
For
what
that.
it's gonna cost, but that, you know,
that-
you got a mill that you levy right now,
Yeah.
and that would be voted on, but that would be up to the voters to make that decision
Right.
on what you'd like to do. Part of that, you'd show your sinking fund, what you're gonna be doing, you know, your capitals for the next 10 years, and then showing what your maintenance costs are for the building, because it's a big building, and it's just, that's what it costs to maintain buildings. So it's not out of,
No,
sometimes people hear a number and they think that's.
Right, but
it's just what it
and
costs.
that's what I think is helpful to, I mean, I, for one, would pay $50 a year, like if the library, you know, to utilize this, I mean, if we can, which we will, I'm sure whoever works the magic of the wording, you know, say that what we're using it for, and, I mean, I think it's an investment well worth it, so I think
Yeah,
we
and
should go for
the timing is excellent because we just paid off the mortgage of the building, so
Right.
Right.
this is really, I mean, it's, we kind of wash to the average taxpayer. This shouldn't be painful,
Yeah,
so.
so I would recommend the full
What
mill.
do we need to do at this point? Do we need
Nothing,
to-
I just give you that
An
information.
idea of what
Okay.
we wanted
We'll have
to
to
do.
come up with some language and
Yeah.
how,
Okay.
which way you want to go.
Up to 1 mil? Up
to 1 mil.
Levy.
And,
I'd be in favor of it.
and then, you know, just as a sinking fund for capital and maintenance, so folks know that they're not paying in, that it's going to be sucked up in, you know, operations somewhere. Just so folks know that it's going to be put aside for those purposes, so. And then just included in your board packet as well, the library board did pass a resolution in support, you know, the commission to seriously consider looking at a millage. And then up to that 1 mil, so that was provided as well for your review. Okay. All right, last meeting we talked quite length about the last handful of galvanized lines formerly connected to lead, and you can talk about that way because we can't prove that it was never connected to lead. So to get this thing finished up, we did provide a draft ordinance for water shutoffs for those folks who refuse to provide us permission to replace their line at no cost to them. Because we do have those grant dollars available right now through the Drinking Water SRF, and those have to be completed by the end of August. Did you have any issues or thoughts on the draft that was in the packet? And if you are good with it, then we will, you know, finish it up and, you know, clean it up so it's ready for you for next meeting to approve. And
Yeah, it's a lot of legalese, but, you know, basically, it's saying that you have to do this, or we're gonna shut your water off.
And the reason we shut the water off, like we discussed, is we can't
We have
serve.
no choice.
We
Yeah,
can't
no
can't
choice,
serve
right.
potentially contaminated water to somebody.
Yep.
So, all right, if you're good with that, we'll have that ready for you for approval for the next week, or sorry, for the next meeting. Just an update on the street projects. Finally, I get to say one complete. Chatterton Water Main Street tree project is done. And looks great. Put a photo in there to kind of, like, the grass has got to grow in yet, but looks nice down through there. North State Street and East Pier Street, they got started today. Of course, I jinxed myself today talking to David. I called him and said, how's everything going down there? And we were looking pretty good. The guys got to the water main pretty quickly, and we tried to do a live connection. I think, yeah, live connection. just didn't have enough room to do it. So Thursday, I called all the restaurants in the block between State and Woodworth. We're gonna have to shut that water off in that block. Start around 8 o'clock on Thursday morning to do a regular tap type project. So knock on wood that they go smoothly and we can be up and running sooner than later. But as soon as that project starts at 8 a.m., it will not stop until the water's back on for that block. So I didn't get a hold of one individual. I did leave a voice message for him and send him an email. But the other individuals I did get a chance to talk to and let them know on Thursday. But they'll be notified tomorrow with an actual notice that it's going to be shut off. But so they can let if they do want to be open, or if they can be open, that their employees can stay home or whatever it may be. So yeah, and I said that right 2.5 hours before that came out, so shouldn't say anything. And then in West Center Street, that project is pretty much all wrapped up. What needs to happen there, once the State Street water main is tapped into the Center Street water main, they need to mill off the asphalt that remains on the southern portion of that road, and then they'll come back in and put the asphalt course on. So they'll be doing that all the same time they do North State Street, so it'll be all done at one time, so.
Weren't they supposed to have it done before festival?
I was hoping, I wasn't gonna have, go ahead Dave, talk about that.
That was a hope. It was just a hope, I thought it was a promise. I took it to heart.
Oh.
So.
It was a goal or hope,
Yes,
but we all know perspective.
it was a goal. We were making every effort, would have been close to getting it. We were waiting on railroad authorization. It took us 14 days to get authorization to do the bore under the railroad and work with the railroad right away. So if anybody notices that there was like 2 weeks where not a whole lot happened, but we did do some work in that meantime. Some of the restoration was done. That's all been completed now. The concrete's been poured. It's been set. So if they can get a mill available, they may not necessarily do the asphalt at the same time as State Street. So they are going to get it milled as soon as possible to get that asphalt on the north side to that north lane done. So there's an outside chance that'll be done before State Street. It all depends on when that mill is available. Number 2 is the asphalter schedule. So that's really what we're waiting on before we open up Center Street. Then line striping as well, but that should fall right behind asphalt.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So,
This would have been nice.
Yep. Water tower project is underway. Did put a couple pictures in there. That's what we're looking at, 45 to 60 days to have that project completed. And as that project's underway, we are producing water 24 hours a day because we don't have enough storage capability while we're doing that. So, but keeping up and that'll be done as well before here in August. Parks and Rec programming, everything gets kicked off here tonight. And got some volleyball happening this year, some drop-in pickleball, yoga classes, all kinds of things here Mondays through Wednesdays and Thursdays. We did include a park events calendar for your review, and they have all kinds of things scheduled for this year. Again, the petting zoo, which was a big hit last year. Touch a Truck was a big hit last year as well. It's amazing what the kids get excited about trucks and things. It's just, they should have grew up on a farm, they wouldn't be so excited. Anyway.
Speaking from experience.
Yes, I am. And this year they're going to be working with the Gratiot Nationals RC racing crew to do something at Holiday Park with some RC racers. So kind of something kind of neat and different. So they're still looking for people to call in and sign their kids up for different programming. And we have the seasonal park staff here that was meeting today and tomorrow to get everything around. So the transportation building expansion, the asphalt company should be in here this week. That's what they've told Brett a couple times now, unless we're gonna have rain, but we have clear skies here through the rest of the week, it looks like, to get that started. The dirt piles out toward Bridge Avenue have been smoothed out and topsoiled, and the Willow Run drive approach is in use. So just wanted to get you up to speed on that, and all things being equal, I'm crossing my fingers that we're done before the end of June, so.
Yeah.
And we can have a ribbon cutting and maybe something more after that.
Any questions on city manager's report? Hearing none, all those in favor of receiving that report, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, please say no. Motion is carried, report is received, thank you. Okay, it's town appropriations. Is there any interest in paying the bills tonight?
Move to pay the appropriations, please.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there any questions about the bills? I hear none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Bills can be paid. Commissioner comments. Danny, what will you start tonight? Sure.
Just special thanks to all the volunteers and everyone that helped out this weekend for the Pine Festival. It's pretty fun every year, so just thank you. I know there's just a ton of people to mention. I don't even think you could. So, but I guess that'll be all. Thank you.
Roxanne.
It was a wonderful day. My mind just blanked. I won't be at our next meeting. I'll be in Colorado visiting my son, so I will be absent the next meeting, but not have anything else to say. Thank you. Thanks for your big long report, Eric, and all the work that we're doing.
All of us got a lot going on.
Yeah.
At the beginning of summer, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Roger.
Echo Danny, special thanks to all of the people at the Highland Festival Committee and volunteers that went out of their way, I think, to be especially kind to me and my family at this time, and I really appreciate it. It was a great, great day.
All right. Sonia? Michelle?
I also would like to thank everybody that worked on the Elma Highland Festival. It was a great weekend again in town, and so many people are happy with it and excited for the weekend, and a lot of hard work. So we appreciate it.
Well, nothing really new to add, but also very much appreciate everyone that was involved with the Highland Festival and making that happen.
Sarah?
I have to go in a different direction for a minute. I need to correct some information that I provided here a couple of weeks ago. And I honestly can't remember if we were on the record when I said it, but for all the people who I did tell, I need to correct that. A little bit of a background is that the City Commission has 4 seats up for election this year, and at the end of the filing period, we had 3 candidates for the 4 seats. So we had some discussion here about what the options were for filling the 4th seat, and I mentioned the write-in candidate and said, which was not entirely correct. I found out at training last week, I said that there were 2 deadlines for write-in candidates, one being the second Friday before the election and the other being election day. And that is not the case. You cannot file for city commissioner as a write-in candidate on election day. That filing would have to be by the second Friday, 4 o'clock before the election. The write-in for an election day candidate is for precinct delegate only. So I just wanted to correct that. And if you know somebody that I shared that information with, if you would help me get that out, I would appreciate it. I'm going to do everything I can to correct that information, but this is the handy dandy book of deadlines. So I mistook one of the deadlines. So my mistake, and they did help me correct that, or shared that with me at the training. So that's
They're still required to get signatures and that kind of thing?
No,
they're not.
that's it. I actually brought a form here, so this is it. It's just a 1-page form to file for
Okay.
declaration of intent.
And the information in this booklet here, that's produced by the state, I presume? Secretary of State maybe? Or
The
is
state does present, the state does
Or is it available
create
online
one.
at the state website?
It is online, and they don't make it in this handy dandy booklet form. They print it out on about 47 pages. So this is from
Okay,
one of
good
our
lawyers.
vendors this is from one of our vendors that puts all that information together and puts in a little book. But there are several hundred deadlines that come along with elections. So
Sarah, will you please clarify what the precinct delegate is? I've heard that mentioned a couple times in the past week. We as a commission are not elected by precinct. We are all at large. And what is a precinct delegate? How does that work?
I don't know a whole lot about it, except for a precinct delegate is related to a party, a political party, and it's someone that they choose to go to county convention and then from there to state convention. If anybody can help me out with that.
That sounds right.
That's out of my realm
Sounds
because
right,
I'm,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, we're nonpartisan, so we don't really know
Right.
about all that either, but yeah, I believe that's
Yes.
the case.
So does that person sit on this board as well?
No,
They
not
do
at
not?
all.
Okay.
No, they only go to the political
Okay, I
party
see.
conventions.
Okay, all right.
That doesn't have anything to do with us.
Okay, so we would still need to find a seventh person for this board.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Ideally,
One way or the other, we will find
Yeah, I-
Yeah.
Ideally,
If somebody
someone
doesn't get
who's
right in,
Yeah.
then we will appoint.
Right,
That's how it
right.
works.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Sonia said Michelle had to find a replacement, but I don't think, we were all together, so we all basically voted on that and walking in the parade, but that was unofficial.
Not if there were more than four of you there.
Since Sarah was.
For clarity, we did not take an official vote.
No,
It
correct.
was an unofficial vote, I
It
don't
was
believe.
an unofficial vote, not official.
Okay. Is that everything, Sarah?
I think so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
No, and I understand your role in the election process, which has become even more cumbersome, so that we should say, in the last couple of years, is greatly appreciated. You're doing a great job, so thank you.
I need to be careful what I say because at some point I'm going to want someone to take over for me. So it's a fantastic job. And I encourage anyone to try it.
Oh, Sarah, you're so funny.
Well, hopefully things will slow down and it'll be more fun. in the
I don't see
future.
settling
I think
down in
you may have moved to the worst.
the near future,
Eric,
my lifetime.
anything more? All right, I just, again, highlight everybody else's comments as far as volunteers with the Highland Festival and everything else in town. It's always great fun to volunteer. If people don't volunteer, if you haven't ever done it, whether it's the Highland Festival or the Strand Theater or any number of child advocacy, there's just tons of opportunities in Alma, and a lot of great people do it and have a really good time. It's a lot of fun, very rewarding. If you don't volunteer, you should consider it. So I encourage everybody to do that. So with that, we'll open up to the members of the public. If you'd like to share any thoughts with the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes to share your thoughts with the commission. Who would like to go first?
I will.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Hey, thank you. Been back over a month. Okay. Les Roseanne, I live at 889 Mill Street here in Alma. I'm trying to get ahead of the curve on this. I know there was discussion, Roger had mentioned something some time ago about some of the e-bike issues in town. And I spent 6 months obviously in Gulf Shores, Alabama. They have a state park with a trail system. They have a real problem with not so much the e-bikes, it's these things, the electric motorcycles, e-motos, whatever you want to call them. These things are capable, if you go online and look, number one, they target them to young males, the advertising, and some of them actually have instructions on how to play with the computer to up the speed or take the speed limiter off entirely. Some of the more expensive ones are capable of 60 miles an hour. I just briefly looked at Michigan Motor Vehicle Code today. I could not find where they identified that as distinguished by an e-bike. An e-bike is one of 3 categories. It's based upon wattage of the motor, whether it has a throttle or not, or just pedal assist. Maximum speed should be 28 miles an hour. That's a Class 3 pedal assist only. Class 2 is pedal assist with a throttle, if you wish, up to 20. And Class 1 is just strict pedal assist, and it cuts out at 20 miles an hour. They're across the country, each state has identified, I mean, not each state, but they're identifying this as a problem, and they're all approaching it differently. From ban them all, get rid of everything. Gulf Shores started their regulation. They didn't know what they were doing. They truly didn't know what they were doing. They identified an e-bike as a bicycle with a motor. That was in their rough draft. I don't live in a high traffic area. But I've seen the upright scooters with a T handlebar. They shouldn't be on the road at all. They're whipping around, and some of those are capable of 35 and 40 miles an hour. I'm seeing more and more of these e-motos in town, and I just think there's an educational component to this, and I think with the parents, because they're buying these things and they think that they're e-bikes. So they buy them for the kids. It's cool. The trouble is, you get 6 adolescent males together on these things, and guess what? You're going to have problems. And I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. If we can do something to educate the public. An article here, a woman was charged with the death of an 81-year-old man after being told that her son could not ride the bike that she bought for him, which was a high-end, capable of 60 some miles an hour. And he was doing the wheelie through an intersection, and he hit this 81-year-old man and killed him. So I just, I'm going to give you these. I just think it's turning into a nationwide problem, and the laws are behind where they should be to discuss it. And I just think if you ignore it, and don't make some effort to do something about it, it's just going to get worse. And you don't have to go very far to see them racing around town. And with school getting out, it'd be worse. So can I give you these, Greg?
Please do. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, we'll share them if we get a chance here. Would anybody else like to address the commission tonight? No? Last chance? Apparently not. With that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. We have a motion to support. Last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Motion is carried, and we are adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.